Good evening, everybody, and welcome to In the Blue Corner with your host in Bangkok, Joseph Luzza, and
Chris Beach from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Good evening. Last game of
how
the
are you?
regular season before we even get into the finals. So, this is going to be a big one, ladies and gents. But of course, we've got a fair bit to unpack prior to that. So, Joe,
Well, Chris.
how you going,
So,
mate?
Chris, yeah, no, I'm a bit annoyed after the weekend, but we'll talk about that in a second. Chris, this could either be our last show, our second last show, or third last show, depending on what happens on Sunday afternoon at the MCG. Well,
Yes.
I'll get in. I'll get into that a bit later, but let's hope that it's not our last show for our
No,
for our
exactly.
millions of TV viewers out there in internet land. From all four corners of the globe. That they'll miss us, Beachy. Um,
Exactly right.
just before we came on there, I was talking to Chris. Chris asked me how you going, and I said, I'm still annoyed about the weekend. I don't understand how, they say a week's a long time in football. 67 seconds is a long time in football, if you ask Michael Voss.
Yes,
Chris,
it is.
how did we lose a game when we were 7 points up with 67 seconds to go? And of all people, Jake Melksham kicks 4 goals.
Sorry, just clearing the
Yeah,
throat there. Um,
yes, that's what
Look,
I thought.
I'm not sure how else to describe it. I mean, Jake Melksham, or as some of my Melbourne friends have called him, the milkshake. God knows how he got that nickname, but that's beside the point. Um, he was a he was a little shit when he played for Essendon against us, and he continued to be a little shit on this night against us for the D's as well. Um, you know, he always seems to find ways to make an impact. And then if it's not him, then it's someone like Bailey Fritsch, who was stopped pretty much most of the evening. Max Gorn. I'm glad we had fucking Pito in there, Joe, because if we didn't have
Yeah,
him, it would probably been a bit of trouble for us. And I'll just name one more off the bat for us as well. The small forwards have usually done the damage for the D's against us as well. Usually the likes of Neil Bullen. But then again, you're looking at the likes of Clayton Oliver,
Hunt.
Christian Petrarca, Bray Short. You're always expecting them to do something as well.
Yeah. There's always one player that saves their best game of the season for a Carlton match. Like it's either Tom Papley, like he'll be really quiet. We tend to have the tendency of playing teams and people back into form. Good evening, Gina. How are you today? Up on the Albury Wodonga border up there. I think she's in Corowa Rutherglen area.
Yes,
Have
she
have a
is.
nice drop of red up there for us, Gina. So, Chris, Saturday. When did we play? A Saturday night.
Saturday night, yes.
What were your thoughts after the game? Honestly, and
Well, I
and
think I said,
remember, hang on, remember this is a G-rated show.
don't worry, it'll be fine. Look, it was okay. So I went with my dad, who is the reason why I'm Kelton, and a few mates. One Kelton, the rest were all Melbourne. After the game, I was actually quite shattered because we actually pushed Melbourne pretty much most of the evening. We were in front at various points. We were able to give it right up to him, even without the likes of Chera, who was a late withdrawal, Kennedy, and Hewitt, and we only lost by 4 points. Now, Joe, I know you said that you were pretty pissed off with this, and some Carlton supporters are going to be pissed off with this as well, which they are well in their rights to. But if we're comparing performances to the last 2 weeks prior to the game against the Demons, then this is pretty much a better performance that we have seen from our boys in the last 2 weeks with this one compared to when we played against Adelaide, where I went over for that and where we got spanked by Brisbane the following week. So we can't be too disappointed with that, even though we want better results in terms of wins.
Where was that effort last week against, or the week before against Adelaide? Where was that effort in the first quarter against Brisbane? This is the thing that seems to really puzzle me, is that we only tend to play in spurts and when we feel like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, if you'd have said to me at the beginning of the season, "Hey Joe, you'd make the finals this year," I'd go, yeah, maybe. You know, if we don't get any injuries. Well, we've had a bucket load of injuries, right? And not to ordinary players, you know, and not just like 1 or 2 week injuries, you know, like Pito was out for like 8 weeks. Zach Williams was out for an extended period. Chera's been out with extended periods. I guess what infuriates the supporters is that at the bye we were 8-2 or 8-3, right? And I think that's where the frustration is coming in to the supporters when I read all these websites and stuff like that. But now, Chris, I told you before the show something that I had a bit of a disagreement with Vince. We had a differing point of view. And I said to Vince, I don't care if we win or lose this weekend against Collingwood. I do because I hate Collingwood. But I don't care if we play an elimination final, right? And Vince is going, what are you talking about? And I go, well, everyone talks about finals experience. Playing in front of 90,000 people, you don't get more finals experience than that. The AFL is the premiership. That's what the business is about winning the premiership. We won't be challenging for the premiership. We can't beat the likes of Geelong. Yeah, we took it up to Melbourne. Brisbane showed that when they wanted to put the foot down, we were nowhere close. I still think we've got a few chinks in our probably game plan and a few players short. So Vince said, no, you've got to have, and Vince from our Sunday show said, no, it's all about finals experience. You know, you've got to get as many finals games into it. Well, you know, Richmond won the premiership with very minimal finals experience. So, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Chris?
Well, that's it. You make both interesting points, actually. The only, look, I honestly don't know what to make of it. I mean, we need to give our players the finals experience as it is, but we also need to expose ourselves more to those big crowds, which we are expecting on Sunday against the Pies. And sorry to hijack for a minute, Joe, but this is effectively a call to arms. If you have a ticket to this game and you are within kilometers distance of the MCG, get there, because there is a double header taking place at the MCG this Sunday with the reserves at 11:45 Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then the AFL boys are kicking off at 3:20. So if you are anywhere near the MCG and you have a ticket, get down there. We need to show these boys support.
Yeah. Shazza, we can beat any team on the day. Yes and no. It depends who we've got in the team. I still think our small forwards are not consistent, right? So 1 week, you know, like, don't get me started on our skills. I mean, that kick from Owies, and he did a couple of really bad kicks, even when we'll hit the front. I mean, he one pass to Charlie. Charlie needed to be adamant to mark it. I just don't understand these players. You know, they're professional footballers. They should be able to hit targets, even under pressure. But, you know, just just little mistakes that we make cost us. And it's little mistakes that the better teams don't tend to make. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Shazza. I think we can beat anyone on our day. But the problem is when it's our day. Whereas a better team, they make their day every weekend. But this season's a little bit more up and down. So I don't know. I think we should beat Collingwood this week. In all honesty, if we can play like we played on Saturday night, we should be beating Collingwood. I think Collingwood went on that extraordinary 11-zip run. You know, they won some close games, and they only won those close games because of how they handled pressure. And you know, Vince is talking about we need to be able to learn how to handle finals football. Well, you know, when you play for Carlton, you're lucky. We got 70 or 80,000 members. We normally get crowds of 40 or 50,000. Our supporters expect a lot. So really, I mean, I can understand if you were a North supporter saying that, but I don't know. That's just my point of view. I mean, it's different, you know. Yeah.
I mean, just
Shaz.
Just back on Shaz's point, it's actually quite a good one because I'm looking at the top 8 as it stands, right? And we're just going to go down for a quick sec because we've had mixed results against the top 8 sides. Now, Geelong, we've been beaten by, which is pretty much the benchmark of the competition at the moment, as I hate to admit it. Sydney, we've beaten. Melbourne, we've been beaten by. Brisbane, we've been beaten by. Collingwood, we've been beaten by. Fremantle, we've split. And Richmond, we've split.
Yeah.
So, look, she makes a good point. If we are on our game, we can take it to the best of them. It's just a question that there have been times where we've been asking ourselves, for how long?
And as she rightly points out, we need to play 4 quarters, not 2.5 or 3 1/3. I think that's... Chris, can you think of one game this year where we've played 4 quarters of football? I can't. I can think of some where we've played 3 and a bit, but we always, I don't know, we tend to let teams in or give up a few goals. And
okay,
we haven't really crushed anyone.
I'll give you one, but it's not much because they were down there, and that's North Melbourne. Because they pushed us for the second quarter, stayed with us for a bit in the third, and then we kicked away. Now, you could also make the argument that the first time we played Adelaide as well, considering how much we won by there. But, again, you made the argument that Adelaide pushed us for a fair bit as well before we kicked away. So, yeah, it's a bit hard to pinpoint one exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I don't know where Jacob lives, but he says you need a spray tan. Doesn't he know that you live in Melbourne and it's not exactly summer at the moment? This is Chris's winter tan.
Yeah, exactly. And this is effectively the winter coat up top here. So have to be getting ready for summer soon. Got to get through spring first.
Bit of spring playing cricket again this year, Mr. Beach?
Yes, I am. I've paid my registration subs, and the pre-season training will start next week. And also, I should probably point out as well, the reason why I'm probably so white is because of the lights above me that's coming down toward me. So there's probably a bit of a tan, but you're not seeing much of it.
Jacob, he's rolling out the excuses, mate. I agree with you. Can people send in donations? We'll send Chris for a spray tan. If Carlton beat Collingwood, people send in your money. We'll send Beachy for a spray tan.
Oh, great idea! I can see that going well.
They'll even wear the Borat Mankini so you can have the G-string lines.
No. I'm not going to traumatize the children. No.
That's right. Now, even though we are a predominantly Carlton program, isn't it magnificent to see the turmoil happening at Essen Scum?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not bad, is it?
couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of pricks, could it? Eh? Oh,
That's right.
at the start of the year, I've got all these Essendon supporters, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to finish in the 8. It's our 150th year. You're going to finish down the bottom." I've got about 10 slabs of beer coming to me, and I don't even drink, and neither does Beachy. So when they all come, Peter, I don't know if you drink, Jacob, Shazza, you're all welcome to come and have a beer with me. But I think did I send you the joke today that I told you that Essendon are going to merge with North. That way, both teams get Alistair Clarkson as the coach, and then they can relocate to Tasmania. We don't need a 19th team.
So hang on. So effectively, they're going to become North Essendon first, and then where are we sticking them in Tassie? Hobart or?
Nah, Devonport. I don't know.
Now come on, that's no. Devonport's a country town with the greatest respect. We got to go to a bigger city. Hobart all day.
All right, then they're in the Hobart. Shaz is in for the drink. Look, I drink. Jacob's probably going to be over for the beer, Peter. But it's just magnificent. It's just magnificent to see the turmoil there, isn't it?
Exactly. And I was pretty blessed to be at the 150th celebration game against us where we just knocked them off the park. I'm not sure if you saw the festivities for that, Joe, but
No.
I tell you what, when you've got someone like Senator Briggs trying to rev up the crowd, and then as soon as the Essendon side actually come on, you've got the legends to come out at they've got the legends to come out with has been introduced by Senator Briggs. Then you got the legends to come out into the goal square, meet the current Essendon side. Then they get into the huddle and listen to Dyson Heppel give the rev up. Now, I couldn't quite hear it all, but the first thought I was thinking was, are you guys that effing desperate? Like, seriously. Like, you didn't see that for our 150th anniversary, and that was, what, 8 years ago now.
They're just hopeless. But it's just great. The only thing that could happen next is that Collingwood implode. Well, they sort of imploded a bit with Nathan Buckley and Eddie Maguire going, but that's okay. And
No.
Chris, anything else before we move on? Like anything other in the world of the AFL that you'd want to bring up? I saw that Zane Cordy got charged with bumping. What is going on with our football code?
Honestly, Joe, I've got no idea anymore. I mean, I try not to pay too much attention to the MRO because of how many times we've been screwed over as a club. And that just infuriates me from week to week. The race for Alistair Clarkson as coach is heating up. Look, I think it's just pretty much a lot of watch this space for the time being.
Yeah, I see a lot of trade talk is starting. I see someone saying some guy from Adelaide wants to come to Carlton. I don't know who it is.
Fisher Mackesy.
Who is he?
Defender, I think.
Well, he can't be that good if he can't get a game in Adelaide.
Well, look, I haven't heard much of him lately because of God knows what's going on. And speaking of turmoil, haven't they put themselves through the ringer, the Adelaide Crows? It all came out after they played us.
Yeah, I know. Why couldn't it have come out before?
Yeah,
anyway,
that would have been nice.
So Beachy, it's Sunday's game, isn't it? Sunday, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock?
Yep.
4 o'clock.
3:20.
3:20. Okay, that's close.
3:20. So, yeah.
What do you think about
effectively 1:20 where you are and
12:20? You're 3 hours in front of us. 3 hours, yeah. So
right, okay. For some reason I thought you were on the same time zone as WA, but anyway, doesn't matter.
Who's in? Who's out?
Well, I would say Zach Williams, but only if he's 100% fit. And even then, I think he'd have to come back via the VFL. Shout out to my Carlton supporting cousin who I think heard that piece of news earlier today.
Yeah.
I think it'd be the smart way to bring him through the VFL, considering he hasn't played since we burst GWS the first time around. Now, there was an open training session earlier today at Icon Park or Princess Park or whatever the heck you want to call it. Adam Chera, Jacob Wiedering, and Sam Doherty were part of a group that trained away from the main group. Now, I'm not sure what the drills involve, but I think there was probably a fair bit of running involved. Zach Williams and George Hewitt trained with the main group, and I think that would have mainly been more football drills. I haven't spoken to anyone that was there, but from the photos and footage that I saw, that's all it seemed to be.
Okay. So we were talking before we came on air. We both are of the opinion that Jesse Motlop may need a bit of a rest.
Yes.
Chera's probably got to come back.
Yep.
So,
and,
are we
sorry, Joe. I didn't mind what Setters and Doc were doing in the midfield against the Demons. Actually,
yeah, I didn't mind that either. Are we bringing TDK back? People were saying we should have probably had two players. We should have had TDK and Pito. So, I like this comment. Townsend, the QC's in.
That's not bad. Good on you, Peter.
I think
Zach Williams, Chera, Townsend, QC, out, Stocker, Nunes, Motlop. Look, I actually disagree. I think Stocker needs to stay. I thought he did quite well with the game time that he had. You know, he was getting around the stoppages when it wasn't in the centre and actually using his foot to kick the ball. Nunes, I would probably agree with. You know, I've tried to give him plenty of chances, and we all know how my learned friend here in Joe is feeling about Jack Nunes. There is a message on WhatsApp between he and I explaining exactly how he feels. I won't say exactly what was said, but I think you can work that out, ladies and gentlemen. And Motlop, as I was saying to Joe off air, look, it's not his fault. He just needs more time. He's a first year. He's only a first year player. He's got to have some time to get everything together now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's played as many games as he had. You know, he looks like he's going to be a good player in the future.
Yes, he is. I mean, and the Motlop name, they've played plenty of games. They've played plenty of games between them. You know, Stephen, Daniel, Shannon. You know, they've all played a great number of games between them.
And they're all been pretty good goal sneaks. So, and
yep,
I don't know. I don't know what the combination of small forwards best suits our team. Whether it's Honey, Motlop, Durden, Owies, Motlop. I mean, there's 3 or 4. There's 4 of them there. What do you think of Honey?
Look, I think there's potential with Honey. I mean, he's got a good sporting pedigree. He gives us forward pressure. He, it might not be physical forward pressure, but he keeps the ball moving. If it's on the ground, he will do everything he can to keep that ball moving. Now, I just saw that. Go, Joe. I just saw that comment from Gina. Needs body strength. Yeah, people say he needs to work on his tank. Another pre-season into him, and I reckon he'll get that fixed. Yeah, he's a competitive beast, Stocker. He will push for the ball. He will force a contest, and if there's a fight, you'll know where he'll be. He'll be the first one in.
Yeah, I want to talk about Jack Martin. I thought we saw the best of Jack. That was probably his best game for us last week. He got us right back into the game. He got us right back in, and that's what we need more of.
Debut for us.
Yeah, that's what we need. And Peter's saying if Williams plays, gives Doc more midfield minutes. Yeah, probably. I'm just a bit worried, Peter, that Zach hasn't played for 6 or 7 weeks and may lack some match fitness. But I mean, the match committee probably know a lot more than us. So
yeah, exactly.
if I was on the match committee, if Adam Chera's fit, I'm bringing Adam Chera back. I'm tempted to play Pito, although Jack Silvani did really well in the ruck last week.
Yes, he
I
did.
thought he did really well.
He had it tough against the likes of Gawn and Jackson, but from other Carlton supporters I've spoken to at work, let's try that again. They have said to me on various occasions that he becomes an extra midfielder in the ruck. He might not win the tap out, but once the ball hits the ground, he's then competing for the ball. And we don't mind that as a fan base, because if you're fighting for that footy, then sooner or later you're going to come out with it.
Yeah, exactly. And Gina, we're not having a go at Jesse Motlop. We're just saying he will be a gun. We're just saying that he's only 18. He's only a kid. You know, I'm surprised he's played as many games as he is. He will be a gun in future. He's got some pace. I think he's just got to learn to be a little bit more team orientated, but that'll come. I think,
Yeah, it will. It will. There's no problem about that.
Yeah. So I'm bringing Chera back. I'm dropping Jack Nunes.
Thought you would.
I'd probably see. The trouble is, if you bring TDK back, who do you drop? Now, some people didn't like Pito's game last week. I thought he was okay.
On the contrary.
Yeah, I thought he was okay. Maybe we can play. I mean, they're going to have Manson down. What's his name? Cox. Who apparently what's that blonde-headed Jack Ginnivan? He's not playing. He's out with a hamstring injury.
Well, that was the original male. Joe. But the male now is he trained 80 to 85% in the latest training session and is now a chance.
Good. Play unfit players. That's what I want. Play Jordan De Goey as well, and Myercheck. Play all your unfit players. That'll do us just nicely.
Well, I think Myercheck got through unscathed, but the main focus was on Ginnivan and De Goey.
Yeah, Shaz has got a good point here. We do miss George Hewitt. We miss George
Hewitt. Absolutely. If we had we had him against the D's, I reckon we might have stolen that.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know why you want to move Silvani back, Jacob, because I think he does. I think he does enough work either in the ruck and up forward. I think he gives us another option. You know, like Charlie's been a bit down on form the last few weeks. Hang on.
He had a disappointing game by his standards last week against the Demons, kicking 1 goal 4. But, this is the kind of game that Charlie will now look to try and step up in, because, there's finals on the line. We want to qualify, and it's the biggest rival that we've got outside of a few other clubs.
Yeah, Peter, we agree with you. We know we can play them, but we're thinking, who do we drop out of the current side to bring TDK, to have TDK, Pito, and Jack Silvani in the team? I'm not 100% sure. I'd need to go back and check our teams from the first 3 rounds. News tonight, both will be playing him. Is that Endigoey? Okay.
Yeah, him and
that's
Degoe.
okay.
Well, that's okay. That's what Craig McRae has said. And, as someone that's sort of got a foot in the McRae camp, I'm taking it at his word, but I'm also wanting to see the sides confirmed as well.
Yeah. But okay, so we get rid of Nunes, we get rid of Motlop. I don't know. Maybe you can play one of the ruckmen off the bench, just have him changing off the bench and have it, a fresh man that comes on all the time, and
So.
play probably just not play Jack in the ruck, just keep him down forward, and he can just take the forward rucks. But yeah, Jacob keeps asking Silvani back, but I don't know who we're going to move out the back line. I mean, we've got Lewis Young, who I thought is playing all right. I just wish sometimes he'd mark instead of double-fisted punch. I never understand the double-fisted punch.
He took some marks against Melbourne last week, but when he was down on confidence, and I'm sure the viewers here will back me up on this, when he was down on confidence, he was going the double fist more. Now, I reckon just find a way to take the mark more often, but keep the double fister in the back pocket because you just never know when you might need it.
Yeah. So we've got who else we got down back? So we'd have I like Doc. Yeah, Saad plays well. See, I like the view if we can bring Zach Williams in, we can probably have Doc play that George Hewitt type role. Because he's got some skill. Oh, DJ Rash from the Sandpit. How are you, mate?
G'day, Rash.
How are you, mate? He was shattered last week. Our mental coach, he was shattered.
He would have been.
But anyway,
I know I was.
I think we all were. So, Peachy, who are your ins and outs?
So I agree. I think we've definitely got to bring in Chera. If his adductor is right, you would think that he's going to be right to go considering he got through the training session today.
Yeah.
Who makes way for him?
Jack Nunes.
Yeah, okay. Look, Jack Nunes is probably one of them. I'm just contemplating whether Setterfield goes back to the bench because he actually did quite well in the midfield for us when he was rotated through the middle with Doc. Are we too tall down back with Collingwood small, medium forwards?
I don't think we are. We've only really got Jacob Wiedering and Lewis Young, and the rest of them are all sort of like Stockers, smallish. Saad and Kemp. Kemp's not playing. Saad's smallish. Doc's smallish, though. I think maybe what you mean, Brandon, is maybe pace. Maybe that's it. Oh no, I can't do this. No. Shaz, I don't think he'll make it. I think Paddy Dow is a good VFL footballer. He just doesn't seem to have that transition to make the AFL great. I don't know if it's confidence, I don't know if it's development, or I don't know if it's laziness. From what I hear, he trains very hard.
From people that
we got yes. Sorry, Chris.
That's right.
Brandon is right here. Add McGovern and Marchbank. Yeah, you're probably right. I thought Marchbank played really well last week.
Well, he kept. I think he had the job on Bailey.
Yeah, I thought Marchbank played quite well. But yeah, you could be right. You can always throw McGovern up for too.
Yeah, exactly. From people that I've spoken to about Paddy Dow, they have said to me that
I'm having a bit of internet troubles here.
That's all right. He's missing a bit of ticker in the people that that's from the people I've spoken to.
Yeah, my internet is cutting in and out, so I'm sorry, people. Are you there, Beachy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm in a yeah. Sorry about that. We're having a really bad tropical thunderstorm here, so our internet will probably cut out again. It's monsoon season here. We had the worst downpour the other day. Oh my God, it's terrible. Anyway, we might have to end it soon. So, Chris, who's in and out? Who's out for you?
So look, I've got Chera in, Nunes out. There's probably more that I'm thinking of, but yeah, look, there's more that I'm thinking of, but they're not coming to me at the moment. Greg Williams once said, "Down needs to harden up." Yep, agreed, Brandon. Agreed.
100%.
As I was saying, Joe, when you were getting cutouts, people, the Carlton supporters I've spoken to, they're saying that he's missing a bit of heart. He's missing the ticker. So, look, that might be a problem for him. And I hate to say it, but I think he might be getting delisted at the end of the year.
Even though he signed a contract mid-year for a 1-year extension, I think they might be using him as trade bait.
Yeah, there's every possibility.
Hang on, here's one. Peter, this probably looks quite interesting. In Chera, Williams, TDK, out Nunes, Stocker, Motlop. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see Stocker. I wouldn't want to see Stocker go out. We're all assuming that Williams is fit, and that if he is fit, they're going to bring him straight into the ones.
Well, so, I don't think Stocker needs to make way for Williams. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, so Beachy, result. What's it going to be? And viewers, be happy to put them up. I'm going to say we'll. I think we might win this in a close one.
So do I. For some reason, I'm looking at 1 to 2 goals with us.
Yeah,
beating them.
I think so too. Yeah, Peter, we can always put Stocker as the medi sub. That's true. So, what about the viewers before we sign off? Any tips? And I don't mean race 7, number 4. Oh, here you go. They're coming.
Blues by 5
Blues
points.
by 5. Actually, this is one person we didn't mention. We'll just go back. Lockie O'Brien. God, he did some shocking things last week. Another one. I don't know what we were thinking about when we picked these. Hope it's not a draw. Well, a draw will do us, I think.
Yeah, it will. A draw will do us, but we will need to keep an eye on Hawthorn versus Dogs, which is the earlier game in the afternoon. And then once we're done, we then have to keep an eye on St Kilda versus Sydney, although you would expect Sydney to do the job there, because even if St Kilda were to beat them, they need to make up the percentage, and they're too far back with that.
Weren't you hoping that the Giants beat the Dogs last week? Oh, God, 5 points. Come on.
Yeah, I know. I know.
We had the double. So, Chrissy, if we win, we'll probably end up playing Freo.
And that'll be over in Perth.
We're shoo-ins in Perth. Beaten them there once this year. We'll do the double.
No, we beat them here. We beat them here. They beat us over there.
That's right. Oh, well, let's play it in Arnhem Land then. Neutral territory.
Go to Darwin. Let's go to Darwin.
Yeah. Let's go Darwin. All right then, guys. So we're going to make it nice and short tonight because of the tropical storms here and my internet being a bit wonky. So we're all hoping for a Carlton win. As Chris has said, call to arms. If you are a member, get your backside down there. Don't want to see any empty seats. Is it a Carlton home game, Chris, or a Collingwood?
Yes, it is. It's a Carlton home game. So there's
all right,
you would say there's no excuse.
So all you people with Carlton memberships, and I believe it's not going to rain either, is it?
I don't believe so. But they have said that. They have said, Joe, that it's a sellout. It's going to be a sellout at the MCG. So everybody, get down there and let's drown out the black and white.
What's this? My hairpiece's moved. I have not got a hairpiece. I wish it did. I'm losing it, but anyway. Yes, yeah. So it's in. All right then, guys. So we're going to wish you a good night. Hopefully, Chris and I will be here next week.
Yes, we will.
If not, we won't. We might do a review show. Don't forget to watch the Jumper Punch. I think they've got an interview with Ricky Chicken Nixon, which will be interesting.
Yeah. Bang! 2-2.
Yeah, and don't forget the boys on Sunday evening after the game. You'll get Vince and Steve, and they'll either be happy or they'll be commiserating. So so on that note, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me. Good night.
Go Blues. Go Blues.
Go Blues.